G'day, my name's Cameron McAvoy. I completed my assignment and my topic was Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, Information and Practice Guide on ADHD. So have a think about when you're undertaking your assignment or you're a student back in high school, wind the clock back, you're involved in an activity, you're engrossed and you smell the smell of cheesy might scroll, you think, oh, I'm quite hungry, you think, oh, I've got to do that when I get home. Oh, like there's a fly in the corner. Oh, it's flying onto a student's shirt. Jeff, you got a fly on your shirt. Teacher's moved you, given you 5 minutes left to do your activity. That's probably a pretty normal day for someone with ADHD or, these constant distractions because they can't remain focused on what they're doing. So what ADHD is, it's an ongoing pattern of inattention, impulsivity and hyperactivity. There's a number of features of ADHD and they include difficulty maintaining focus, distraction, procrastination, remembering to complete tasks, losing and misplacing things, impulsive behaviour, difficulty planning and organising and difficulty managing their emotions. So this can create issues for students and the literature or the research shows that there's a correlation between ADHD and academic underachievement, increased non-compliance, aggression and also difficulty regarding relationships with peers for students. 5 to 7% of the population has ADHD, so you're quite likely to come across students with ADHD in your classroom. Under the Disability Discrimination Act of 1992, you are required, society is required to essentially allow these students to have access to the same high quality education, so we can't discriminate against people with disability, and ADHD is listed under the Act as a disability. There's 3 types or subtypes of ADHD. There's primarily inattentive, hyperactive subtype and combined. So primarily inattentive includes inattention, disorganisation, lack of focus. Hyperactive is increased motor activity, increased impulsivity. With disabilities, we quite often look to the negative aspects or what a person can't do. ADHD does have some positives, so there are some abilities associated which can be advantageous for a student or somebody in society or in the workplace or in school. They can be creative, flexible, they can be innovative, they have a really strong sense of justice, great at improvising, excellent imagination. They're lateral thinkers, seeing a student's answers to a question in an exam, they quite often think laterally, so it's quite interesting to see their response. Ability to hyper-focus and a good sense of humour. Some strategies to think about in the classroom. There's a lot of literature that shows a traditional approach with ADHD, and that is managing the physical environment but also the behaviour. So this might be having a student sitting at the front of the class so they don't sit at the back and get distracted by their peers. Sitting close to the teacher so the teacher can quickly engage and, oh, they're off task so I can help, or if there's an issue they're nearby and they don't need to walk up or distract others within the classroom. Utilising visual displays is excellent, so for instance when it's appropriate to talk, when it's not appropriate to talk, so having green or amber or red could signal what stage the classroom's in, so when the student sort of comes back to the class and regains their focus, they can quickly just visually check on what's going on. Clear rules, expectations and strategic praise is also a great strategy as well. Have a think about also creating a support group for those students with ADHD and collaborating with their parents and also other professionals in the school to ensure that everyone's on the same page and working towards the same goal and everyone's aware of what each other's doing and are agreed, especially the parents obviously. Something else I just wanted to quickly discuss, which is that I found out in my research for the assignment, was the effect of mindfulness on students with ADHD and how that strategy and how that practice can be used to help those students within the classroom and then throughout their whole life essentially. There's a picture of my daughter practicing mindfulness in our backyard. But essentially mindfulness, the initial research is inconclusive, but it really is showing some positives. Smiling Mind defines mindfulness as a state of being fully awake to life, being aware and undistracted in the present moment, and observing life as it unfolds without analysis or judgment. It's about focusing on the here and now rather than thinking about the past or worrying about the future. Mindfulness meditation is a tool that can help students develop inner skills to manage their ADHD. It can improve their ability to self-observe, also train their attention. So the Smiling Mindfulness app, there's a whole lot of research and evidence-based literature that is showing that managing inattention and developing that ability is a real positive for students and children with ADHD and adults as well. Having the parents also undertaking ADHD is really helpful. The program is set up over 10 weeks, but obviously it can just be run continuously. The idea is you run 3 sessions per week. You start with a setup, so set the students up with what they're undertaking, explain the importance and the benefits. There's not only benefits associated with ADHD, but also for the whole school community in terms of stress and anxiety and overall mental health. So you do the setup debrief, you undertake a mindfulness meditation session, which is run through the mindfulness app. You can run that through your phone or a computer, so application on your phone, or on their Smiling Mind website. And the program is specific to age levels, so it's broken up between 2-year age levels, right through from primary education to secondary. So you can choose that, download the lesson plans, and essentially just kick off and run it. And do some additional workshops through Smiling Mind if you don't feel like you're able to run those programs. Yeah, so there is some additional research on the poster. Some additional resources, but I do encourage you to check out the Smiling Mind app and the meditation mindfulness practice. And we'll just quickly run through a mindfulness session, just 30 seconds, so you can just get a taste of it. But thanks very much for listening. I encourage you to look at the new alternative approaches to managing some disabilities, including the learning disorder around ADHD. But thank you. Enjoy.
2, as you breathe out. 3, in. 4, out. 5, in. 6, out. 7, in. 8, out. 9, in.